Hello, I wanted to do an unusual little video for you. It's, it's along the lines of art, but it's something that kind of just goes with the setting the tone for creating my art. My name is Cheryl Wilson, and I'm an abstract artist, and feathers have such a phenomenal meaning to me. And a lot of times people ask, well, really, what is the meaning of a feather? And it's actually, I guess, for a lot of people, a very personal reason of why people like feathers. So I've created, I got these peacock feathers a while back, and I wanted to be able to just have them in my art studio. I have them hanging. I have several hanging all over the place, and I just kind of want to show you how I do it. But I got these on Amazon. They weren't that expensive. Probably you can get 50 of them for under $20. And I'll show you what I use. And then I just put a loop on the top with some real pretty beads, and then I hang them around my art studio just to remind me of my meaning of what I feel a feather is. And here's another one. Let me see if you can see it within the frame. They're just beautiful. Let me see if I can turn some more light on in here in the room too. But I'll put it kind of down here. But feathers, is a lot of people say when you find a feather in a like an unusual place, like in your purse or just along your path, then it's almost like a sign from an angel or from somebody from above, just telling you that they're thinking of you or that you're going to be okay. And I mean, have you ever heard of that saying, feathers appear where angels are near? And it's just something that I guess comforts me, I guess, when I have feathers around. These are peacock feathers, and it's not necessarily I'll find a peacock feather, but any feather. I have actually made a lot of beautiful pens from feathers, and some that I have found, and I actually use these in my studio. But here's a fountain pen with some really bold feathers, and then just regular, and I can even do a demo on that if you want. But I have feathers all around me. But here's how I use them. I get hemp, and it's just a very simple string, I guess you could say. And I cut the first one, and I went ahead and started it. The first one I cut about 12 inches long. And then I just put at the top, I just put a little tie at the top. This is what, and you'll make this as big, that is as large of a loop that you want. So anyway, you put a loop at the top, and then at the bottom, I just add a cute little bead, just because it gives some decoration. And I always have a little spot of Elmer's glue, because what I do with the glue, and you'll see when I put the beads on, is I always dip the tips of anything that any of the string I'm working with down in the Elmer's glue, and then I twist the end so it will go, you can thread it through almost any bead that you use. So I take the hemp or whatever twine that you want to use, I put a knot at the top, I put a little bit of glue down on the feather, and then I just twist the rope or the hemp around this part of the feather. You can make it tight, or you can make it as loose as you want. I am an abstract artist. I'm very messy, very spontaneous, so I like my things I do very unstructured. If you like it very neat and tidy, you can wrap it up very, very neat and tidy. But there's an idea of how I do the first part. And then the second part is I go and I tie, I get another string about 8 inches long. And again, I dip the tips down in the glue. You get a nice strong point. I always start with somewhat of a smaller bead. Some of the beads, it doesn't go through. You just have to keep testing. You can even use some of these small ones over here. But I thread them through. So I wanted to show you what I did. I thread them through, tie a knot on one end, thread them through till you have a whole bunch on your string. Okay, like this. And then I divide them. It can be equal, they can be unequal, however you want. And then I just take the part that I did and I just tie a knot through what I just did. And I'm using a different color. So the hemp on the first part is one color and then the string is a different color. And now I have 3 of these, and you can tell this I used the same color. I had this is a bead that's, you know, going sideways. These are of different sizes. One string's longer than the other. But I think the meaning of the feather for me, and you know, even though this is a peacock feather, is in the Bible, feathers seem to speak of the idea of the covering of the protection of God's love and his care. So like in Psalms 91:4, he will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His truth is your shield and armor. I think it's just a beautiful verse. And there's another one, Deuteronomy 32:11. He spreads his wings over them, even as an eagle overspreads her young. She carries them upon her wings, as does the Lord and his people. So the feather can be any sort of meaning to you. It can just be beautiful. It doesn't have to have a spiritual meaning for you. For me, it does. And just having these around, hanging in my art studio, and they're very simple to make. It doesn't have to be peacock feathers, but you can see what a lot of these hanging around just make me feel, remind me of the spirituality of the feather and how beautiful they are. And again, if you want me to show how I made the feathers with pens, just put a comment below and tell me. But this was just a short fun video to just give you a very simple little sample of some things that I surround myself with in my studio, just to give me inspiration and beauty. And between that and candles and my fountain, it's just a beautiful feeling. I hope you enjoyed this.